it is, guys, your boy BlastphamousHD. Now, I always used to wonder what it was with being black that made us not fuck with the police. Maybe we don't like their general attitudes, or maybe it's the fact that they tend to murder us regardless of if we're actually armed or not. Of course, I'm saying that in relations of what's going on in Ferguson in St. Louis right now, but I've actually had one of those situations somewhat almost happen to my black ass. Now, when I first moved to Vegas, I was young, and I was always wondering, like, why do black people not fuck with the police? All up until one day, I was at the downtown DTC. Now, anybody who knows about the DTC knows that that stands for Downtown Transit Center, or whatever the hell. That is the place where if you were catching the bus a long ways, you usually would have to stop by the DTC, because the DTC is where all of the buses ran through. If you were traveling long distances in Vegas via the bus, then you were usually gonna have to stop by the DTC at least once or twice. I'm at the DTC, it is legitimately 6:30 in the morning. I was working construction at the time. I had to be at work at 7 o'clock. And if I was late, then I would just plain lose my freaking job. And I probably wouldn't have had the place to stay. I'm waiting on the benches next to the McDonald's, because they had a McDonald's, a really small arcade, a whole bunch of machines where you can get quarters from to play the arcade machines. Even though it was dirty as all living shit inside of the DTC, it was pretty cool to spend short amounts of time there, aside from all the homeless people and some of the crazy people walking around. I'm sitting at the bench inside the DTC, I'm waiting on my bus, and I'm playing on my phone. An officer walks up to me and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I've never been one to be disrespectful to the police. It's not because I like them, but it's because I've heard that if you're disrespectful to the police, you usually go to jail. So I turn around and I'm like, I'm just waiting for my bus to get here. And he's like, "Just make sure not to do nothing that will get you in some trouble, all right? We're here." He turns around and he leaves, and I continue playing on my phone. That's about 6:40 at this time, right? My bus comes at 6:45, and it gets me to my job around 6:55. So I'm still sitting at the DTC bench, and I'm playing on my phone, and the same officer walks up to me again, but this time accompanied by his partner. And he's like, "What are you doing here? There's no sleeping here." And I'm like, "Sir, I'm not sleeping." Right when I say that to him, I look over 2 benches to the left, and there's this white dude legitimately passed out. Like, this dude's sleeping so hard, like you would think the table he was sleeping on had a pillow on it. Like, this dude is knocked out, completely freaking dead to the world. I look up at the police officer, I'm like, "But sir, he's sleeping." The police officer snaps at me, he's like, don't tell me how to fucking do my job. We're not talking to him. We're talking to you. No sleeping at the fucking benches. And then he's like, "What are you doing here and where are you going?" And he's like, "Well, what do you do?" And I point to my construction hat. When you work at the contractors and builders I worked at, you had to have a safety hat, which I kept with me whenever I was on my way to work. So I pointed at my construction hat and I'm like, "Well, I work construction." Right when I said that, I realized it had been a couple of minutes since I looked at my watch, and my bus was supposed to come 5 minutes after I had looked at my watch a couple of minutes before. So me being scared and not wanting to miss my bus and lose my job, I looked down at my phone to see what time it was. And when I did that, the police officer just freaking snaps. Even till this freaking day, I'll never forget the hell what they said. He's, "Don't you fucking look away from us, okay? You're gonna disrespect us? You're not gonna show us any fucking respect? Really? You know what? Get up." So, of course, I get up. And when I get up, the main officer grabs me and runs me into the side of the freaking wall at the DTC, which of course is brick, shoves my face into the fucking wall, and then takes his knee and puts that in my back. He grabs both my arms and pulls them behind my back as if getting ready to, put cuffs on me, which of course is cool with me because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm being arrested, like, what the hell can I do? I'm just gonna get arrested. Hopefully when I get out of jail, I can get some sort of proof to my boss that I wasn't just off bullshitting, that I really couldn't make it to work because I had gotten arrested. So the officer has my hands behind my back, but he's not taking out his cuffs and he's not arresting me. He's got his knee into the lower half of my back, shoving it in as deep as possible while he's got both my arms and he's pulling them behind my back and interlocking them the way they can't go. You could picture watching a WWE match and seeing someone getting put in a really painful submission. Like, that's what this is like. And why he's got my arms behind my back and he's crossing them and yanking them out while shoving his knee further and further into the groove on my lower back. He's screaming out, "Stop resisting! Stop resisting!" I said, "Stop fucking resisting!" And I am as calmly as possible stating, and while saying sir and being respectful, sir, I'm not resisting, sir, I'm not resisting, sir, I'm not resisting, because I'm nowhere near stupid enough to fight the police. Like, what the hell I look like? Back then, I hadn't really seen a lot of police brutality, but all I knew is that, you know, fighting the police or resisting arrest is fucking stupid. Like, even though I had never really seen a lot of people getting killed or beaten the hell up for resisting an officer, I just knew that was a really, really stupid thing to do. You best believe I'm as compliant as I possibly could be in a situation, and I'm saying as calmly as I could at the moment, sir, I'm not resisting. Sir, please, I'm not resisting. Sir, I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. And the whole time I'm saying this, he's yanking my arms farther out the back of me while still driving his knee even deeper into my lower back and screaming out, stop resisting, stop resisting. He looks at his partner, he's like, sir, you see him resisting? We're gonna have to do something. He's not complying. His jackass officer takes off his goddamn nightstick and he points it at me. He's like, sir, we said stop fucking resisting. Either you're gonna comply with my partner's orders or we're gonna fucking have to take you down with force. Stop fucking resisting. Now a crowd is crowding around us, and the DTC is a lot of fucking black people, just a whole bunch of fucking black people. Apparently white folks have cars. Might edit that out. But so now we've got this fucking huge crowd surrounding us, and the officer who has me up against the wall, who's feeling like he's about to yank my arms out my sockets at any freaking moment, is still screaming out, stop resisting. And I'm still saying as calmly but as loudly as possible, very calm, sir, I'm not resisting. Sir, I'm not resisting. Now the people who are crowded around us are starting to pick up on what's going on, and you hear people in the crowd, people are like, he's not resisting. What are you guys doing? He's clearly complying. What are you guys just gonna fucking beat him? And when people started chanting that, you see the main officer's partner, his expression changes to, oh, okay, yeah, you know, oh, okay. Bob, put the handcuffs on him. The officer behind me stops trying to rip my arms out the back of me and finally puts cuffs on me and escort me to a back room inside the DTC that I didn't even freaking know existed at the time. They sit me down on this wooden bench and I've got the handcuffs on still. They just start grilling me like super freaking hard. The first officer, the main officer, he's like, yeah, you know, where are you from? And I was born in Compton, LA. And the first officer's like, figures. I can't say anything to that. I'm like, okay. You know, and he's like, I bet you don't like white guys, do you? You know, me being stupid but trying to defend myself. I'm like, no, like all of my roommates are white, which they were. And he's like, yeah, right, huh? You know what? I bet you're freaking racist, huh? Coming in here with your jeans sagged all low. Yeah, you think you're better than me and my partner, don't you? You know, at that point, it had dawned on me what was going on. This was just some extremely insecure man taking what little bit of power that life has dealt him and just going in on people that he felt were lower than him. With that being said, I didn't even say anything. And when I didn't say anything, the partner's like, you respect me, my fucking partner, okay? You answer him when he asks you a fucking question. They asked me a whole bunch of freaking questions that had nothing to do with me being arrested at the DTC. After they get done slandering the shit out of me, telling me about how racist I am, they charged me with misuse of a bus stop. It's not like I was taking a shit at the bus bench. I was legitimately freaking sitting there waiting to freaking go to work. The guys, they finally let me out of my freaking cuffs. But when I walk out confidently and I'm smiling, because inside of my head, you know, you guys are just proving to me how much of losers you guys are. So when I'm walking out, I guess the main officer sees that and he doesn't like that I'm okay with what just happened. I should be broken, right? He's like, so you think this is okay, huh? And I'm like, well, I mean, you know, it's cool. He's like, oh, for real? Oh, okay. So you seem like a pretty confident guy, right? And I'm like, I'm a pretty cool dude. He's like, oh, for real? Oh, so you know what? You seem like the type of guy that catches the bus a lot, don't you? Given you have to go to work and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I catch the bus fairly a lot. So I bet if you couldn't catch the bus anymore, that would put a cramp in your style, wouldn't it? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would still make it to work on time. He's like, oh, for real? You know what? Well, now you're banned from the downtown DTC. If we even catch you down here, you're instantly being arrested and taken to jail for trespassing. So why don't you go ahead and act confident on that, huh? You still happy? I'm like, yeah, my day's pretty good still. And I turn around and walk out. Like 2 or 3 years until I finally got a car, I still continued to go back to that freaking DTC. Now, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I would look over my shoulder every other time I was there, you know, because they more than likely really would have arrested me and taken me to jail for going, if they would have saw me down there, but they never did, you know? I think the moral of this story is, fuck the police. Police can kiss my ass. You know, and that's real shit. I just don't fuck with him. I can't. I have nothing for him. Have no love for him whatsoever. Hope you guys enjoyed the story, man. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. And until next time, BHD out. Twisms.